Namaste ji, namaste. So as you may already be knowing that the BCI is planning to file an application. That is the key word. It is not official yet, as in the judgment hasn't come, and it's not a new rule that you will have to have 3 years of experience before you can sit for your judiciary entrance examinations. Let us consider the press release first and basically try to understand what exactly are these guys trying to do. Then secondly, we will try to frame out arguments against this move, because arguments for this move have already been done, or rather made, by the BCI, so why do the work again and again? So they are saying this is their, you can say, ratio, right? Judicial officers not having practical experience at the bar are mostly found to be incapable and inept in handling matters. Debatable, that's almost like an insane amount of insult to the entire subordinate judiciary. They should actually consider what the BCI is saying and try to do something about it. Second point, the inexperience at the bar is one of the primary and major reasons for delays in the disposal of cases in the subordinate judiciary. Again, a very, very debatable point. There are a multitude of factors. First and foremost, there's shortage of judges, overload of frivolous litigation. Secondly, the court's functioning needs an overhaul. Why blame the newer judges, right? Again, debatable, right? Trained and experienced judicial officers can comprehend and dispose of matters at a much faster pace. Yeah, maybe, agreed, right? Thereby leading to efficient administration of justice. Okay, so they are quoting one case law, which is All India Judges Association and Others versus Union of India. This is, I believe it's a 2002 case law. I think they mentioned this. Yeah, dated 21st March 2002, that the requirement of 3 years of experience at the bar had been done away by the Apex Court. Now, the Bar Council of India is filing an application before the Apex Court to seek the modification of the said order. So this is application number 1 that they are going to be filing. So it's not, the Apex Court needs to pronounce its order on that. So, well, hold your horses, keep your preparation on track up till now. Okay, so don't just be completely worried about this notification or this press release. Keep your preparation on track. You never really know, as in litigation, or with people's wives. With litigation, you never really know what happens. Okay. The Andhra Pradesh Public Service Commission had invited applications. Okay, so there is another case that is going on. So there's a writ petition bearing 1479/2020. So that means it is a writ petition from 2020. The petitioner is Mr. Regular Venkatesh, against basically the notification. I think the Andhra Pradesh State Judicial Services must have asked for 3 years of experience. So this guy has challenged it. So they are filing an impleadment application. And where is the impleadment application given? In the CPC Order 1 Rule 10, right? Can revise from the BEAR Act, will help you out later on in the exam as well. And shall plead in favor of the urgency and requirement to have a minimum of 3 years experience. तो ये तो जी हो गई इनकी कहानी. So अभी कुछ official नहीं है, पहली बात. So don't, hold your horses, as in hold your horses, not don't hold your horses. Hold your horses. Keep your preparation on track. ऐसी अभी कोई दिक्कत की बात नहीं है, because the Apex Court is sitting there and the judges are going to decide. This is pretty much an insult to the entire subordinate judiciary by the BCI. In a way, if I were a subordinate judge, I would actually frown upon it. So they do have a point actually when a 21-year-old becomes a judge, or let us say even a 22-23-year-old. It's not about your knowledge, it's not about your training, it's just that a lot of times you require the appropriate maturity of mind that can only come with age. So maturity will only come with age, unless and until you're hit by, let us say, bulldozer in life. Life's troubles really hit you and you've really had a tough life. Then also maturity slightly basically increases at a fast rate, but usually maturity comes with age only. And since as a judge you are in control of people's lives, because it is a hell lot of power, and never ever sit for the judicial service examinations if you just want power, etc. एक तो पहली बात clear ही नहीं होगा, और अगर clear हो गया, you are going to defeat the entire purpose of judiciary in the first place. So you really have a lot of control over people's liberty, etc. And when you are young, you may just not be able to see both the sides of the coin. This is what basically these guys are after. And secondly, they want speedier disposal of cases, and they have found out that the reason is that the younger guys and girls who are basically becoming judges at the subordinate level, they are really not up to the mark, and then basically delaying the judicial administration of justice. But that is debatable. All right, so let us take a look at numbers now. So इन्होंने अपना काम कर दिया, हम लोग अपना काम कर लेते हैं. So let us take a look at these numbers. So presumably, just hypothetically speaking, if you consider Delhi's case, and hopefully I'm up to date to this notification, fact check me on this. So the upper limit for the lower judiciary, the age is 32. So it's life is any which way time and a numbers game, right? You're always fighting against a biological clock before Mahakal ji comes, and well, that's it, game over. And 45 is the upper limit as of right now at the time that I'm shooting this video for the higher judicial services examination. Fact check me on this, I just googled it. So purana koi dikh gaya hoga, I really don't know whether it's updated or not. And then you're retiring the judge at 62, basically the provisions that are given from article 217 onwards. I'm solely talking about the High Court. I'm not even going to the Supreme Court under 124 because well, part 5 chapter 4 of the Indian Constitution 124, and I'm really not going to the Supreme Court because everyone knows कि वहाँ तक पहुँचने के लिए you need a lot of connections, a lot of रिश्तेदारी and a lot of clout basically to even reach that. काफ़ी लोगों को शायद बात बुरी लगती है, लेकिन जो सच है तो है, इसके अंदर कोई क्या करेगा. I'm talking about becoming a Supreme Court judge there, and the 99th Amendment any which way, everyone knows what happened there. So 32, 45, 62 आपके numbers चल रहे हैं यहाँ पे, right? So in Article 217 Clause 2, and then you're looking at subclauses A and B, you already need 10 years of service to be in the judicial, basically as a judicial officer, to even be considered for a high court appointment in the high court judiciary, or you need basically practice at 2 successive courts. I do not wish to go into the exact details of 217 here. Now, when you look at an NLU grad and when you look at a DU grad, basically, so let us say that you crack the CLAT and then you get into NLU, or you crack the AILT, you go into NLUD, 18 plus 5 at 23, basically you have a LLB, basically a BA LLB or a BB LLB as per your choice. And if let us say that you go in by the 3-year route, then well, basically you're looking at 21 plus 3, because at the time when you'll be enrolling in DU or BHU or any of these GLC, the 3-year law programs over there, 18 plus 3 standard graduation, let us say aapne kari ho, and let us say that if you're from an engineering background, then you're looking at 4 years here. So it's 21 plus 3 is basically now you're looking at 24. And the trouble with all of this is, give me 1 second, let me just update this. Somehow this got left out. So 24 and 23 is basically the LLB graduation age. Now when you're adding 3 more years, let us presume that this goes through, you're adding 3 more years, you've turned the graduate into 26 and 27, all right, and factor in 2 attempts as well. So the judicial service examinations is no less than a UPSC for law graduates, especially because it tests you on the CPC, evidence, and the CRPC, which is missing from the UPSC law optional as well. And pretty much they are very, very comprehensive, very heavy acts. I would say CRPC is relatively simple still, but it's like a chess game, as one senior lawyer calls it. But CPC is a monster of an act, and Evidence Act is, again, it's not exactly very easy. So when you're mastering these acts, and when basically you're answering questions based on a majority of the questions on these acts, you pretty much have to factor in around 2 attempts. So क्योंकि एक बार में शायद ना clear हो, नहीं होता. Sometimes people get stuck at the interview stage, sometimes something else happens, anything can happen in life. So you're looking at 2 attempts. So you turn the DU guy to 27, basically from 27 to 29 now. We have factored in the 3 years that they're saying, and we have gotten these guys from 26 to 28. So these guys who could be, let us say, judges at the age of, I am factoring in roughly around, I hope it is better now. I'll just increase the brightness. So we are factoring in roughly about these guys who could have been judges at the age of 25, and let us say from 24 to 26, you have increased their ages to 29, and then you've increased their age to 28. Now there's a hell lot of difference that will start to crop up. So after these 2 attempts, also you need 10 years, as we've spoken, via 217. So they enter the High Court if everything goes well, by the way. Life is not exactly, life isn't exactly fun. It hits you in ways that you can't ever comprehend. I'm talking about very ideal scenarios. So you've gotten them into the High Court at the ages of 39 and 38 respectively, and you're retiring them at 62. Let's 62 minus 39. Hopefully my maths is correct. As usual, us lawyers really don't have their maths correct. So it's basically 23 years of active service, you can say, to the judicial services, or as an officer of the judiciary. Out of the 23 years, you remove half, because half of that is spent in traveling, sleeping, and health issues, marriage, kids, etc., etc. You practically effectively cutting it down to about 11 odd years. And then you say that justice, the administration of justice is not swift in India. I really don't know what exactly these guys are thinking. So let's take a look at the counterpoints that we can think of to. Now, since the BCI is approaching court, I'm sure that a lot of students will also be opposing their contentions in court, and hopefully they do so. Earlier, I was also thinking to file a couple of applications, but A, out of my budget, B, there is no time available with me, and C, I'm really not an aggrieved party any which way. I'm not looking to crack the judiciary examinations. I just prepare for those, as in make people prepare for those. So if you're aggrieved, go ahead, approach the court, approach the apex court. Now, the counterpoints that you can give is first and foremost the attempts. So they are thinking कि 3 साल के experience के बाद, the attempts. But as I've said, it's 2 to 3 attempts. Sometimes you may just not clear, sometimes you may just get thrown out of the interview stage, at the interview stage, and then you already are running behind numbers. 3 is a significant number, right? But the most important argument that I believe that holds some ground is this. Okay, this is a very ideal scenario. How exactly are you thinking to get 3 years of experience? How exactly are you going to measure it? If you measure it from the date of enrollment at the bar, there's like 10 trillion lawyers, hopefully, as in they must be in Delhi right now only when I'm speaking this, who have taken their license in 2016, 2017, 100 or even I know, who haven't ever seen the face of a court. Now, if you think just based on your enrollment at the bar is basically a measure of their experience, I think not. So those guys, the examples that I've just quoted, they will qualify to sit as a judicial officer, whereas they haven't really practiced. So how exactly are you going to impose the 3 years? Are you going to check wakalatnamas? Those are also very easily. Phone karo ji, mera bhi naam chढ़वा do, sign kara do. All those practices are there, and there is no really way to counter check them effectively. So the BCI really needs to do some thinking as to exactly maybe their purpose is defeated, because their purpose is actually to get better trained people at the judges, right? So if this fails, let us say that you are checking 3 years of experience from the bar license, or the enrollment at the bar date, or the AIB pass clearance, etc. There will be 10 trillion people who will be just as inept as the word that they've used as a fresh law graduate would be. So it completely defeats your purpose, and this is pretty much the main point that the judge who is going to decide on this matter will want to pay heed to. And then what a reasonable check can be instead of 3 years, because 3 years is a hell lot of time. Maybe make it 1 year right after your graduation, right after you get your LLB degree, and then you practice out for 1 year. Let us say that you're doing internships, or you're doing clerkships, or you are basically working somewhere related to litigation and related to judiciary. Then this may just work out. 1 year is a reasonable enough time that students will also agree to. 3 years is a hell lot of time. And what does 3 years do? 3 years actually breaks your momentum completely. This is a factor. It is very, very hard to get back to studying. These guys are not factoring in this stupidity that happens in life once basically you have lost track of books. I'm sure people, let us say the advocates who aren't practicing the Contract Act, won't pretty much, it's actually natural, won't pretty much, let us say, remember of the back of their head what is the difference between misrepresentation and mistake of fact. I'm teaching this day and night out, so I know, but obviously I won't know the practical side of things as to how to basically file an application in the court, what is the stamp duty, what is the court fees, etc., etc., as in not stamp duty, but just hopefully you get the gist. It's just a way of speaking. So the momentum breaks and it gets very difficult to get back to studies once, because once you realize that academic the application of the knowledge that you've gained from academics isn't really that great in the real world scenario, so you may just want to keep your books on one side, right? So this, they need to discount the discontinuation of students momentum, which is very very crucial, because once you're getting back to books after 3 years, it becomes really really difficult. That is why people, even for the CAT they just immediately take it after their graduation, so that that student life flow never breaks. This is basically, you are inducing a huge gap, right? And you may also, I'm talking to the guys who are in favor of all of this, maybe just be enlarging the void with the shortage of judicial officers that are there at the subordinate level. You may just be enlarging that void, and let us say after the momentum of 3 years, even the bright, the intelligent people who really could have cracked the examination just don't want to take the exam any which way, anymore rather. So you're looking at trouble here. So might as well discount this. So this is a very ideal scenario that the BCI has proposed, and ideal things, if I wish we were living in an ideal world. So instead of blaming everything left, right, and center, what exactly is happening at the National Judicial Academies? Please increase the trainings, because similar stuff happens in the UPSC as well. And how are those guys coping up by becoming Indian Administrative Service officers? So it's already been argued actually in the case law, as the Supreme Court said the comparison isn't exactly correct, but I would still reiterate the point that when you point one finger at someone, three point back at you. So what exactly are you guys doing for to make the fresh law graduates who clear the judiciary level examinations, where is your training level? Because that also can be a factor, right? In the ratio that they have provided, I won't go to the first page again. In the ratio that they have provided, that due to your inexperience you are not able to speedily administer justice. Okay, agreed a bit with it, yes, but where is your point of what exactly are you doing when you're training these guys to be judges? It isn't like that one day you clear the exam and then the second day you go and sit at the bench. There is an entire process behind it, so might as well improve that process. Hopefully I haven't really missed out on any points. Let me check whether I have any more. I don't think that I have. Okay ji, so keep your preparation on track, keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully the apex court considers the pointers, and hopefully someone see YouTube videos. I can go on and on about these things, but trouble is, how will a YouTube video any which way affect the code of law? So the pointers that I'm sure the students must be filing objections, and I'm sure that they are going to raise certain points similar to such stuff, and hopefully then the judges listen. Maybe 6 months to 1 year instead of 3 years, which is a hell lot of time, and it's going to basically break, or rather a pool of bright, intelligent young kids will basically break away, who could have entered the judiciary and could have done justice to the services, and helped in administration of justice. When they will pull out of that pool, you pretty much are losing out on quite a lot of talent that was very much required, and then you're going to cry again, as in to the guys who proposed this. So factor it in. And the most crucial point is the AIBE, or the enrollment in the State Bar Council date. Exactly how exactly are you going to measure 3 years of work X? Because fraudulent documents can be prepared, everything can be done. Hindustan hai, sab hota hai. So just that this may just be one more formality that you are creating, and on top of it creating much more damage to the judicial services. All right, so that's about it. Wishing you all the very best. Keep your preparation on track. Hope you stay safe. See you.